recognized and celebrated, whether it be together or afar.
When you were a teenager, your garage was the beginning of your rock and roll dreams. Later on, your garage was a place to store whatever didn't fit in the house. Then you got the car of your dreams. And that's not staying outside at night, no sir. That's where we come in.
P&R Entry Doors is your one-stop source for installation and repairs. As an official Midland garage door dealer, we have everything you need for any size garage in any situation. PNREntryDoors.com.
Have you ever wondered how the brain works? What makes us tick? Join me, Greg Woods, every Wednesday morning for all the latest news on the brain, on aging, and the science behind it all. It's The Mind Boggles, every Wednesday morning at 8:30 on AM 1400 KVFD.
Michael Devine, broadcasting live.
Yes, I'm broadcasting live from the fabulous KVFD studios, and we welcome back Sam Clovis. How are you, Sam?
Doing great, Mike. Thanks for having me on.
Sam is a well-known Republican commentator. He did 25 years in the Air Force, of course. He was an instructor at Morningside, and perhaps his greatest achievement was he was a talk show host at a Sioux City radio station. So being in the Trump administration doesn't quite cut it when we talk show hosts, right?
Well, but that's the immediate every time the Washington Post or New York Times or any of the scurrilous newspapers out there would talk about me, it was always a radio talk show host, because it immediately threw me into the trash heap of history. We were to be plowed under in time, and and never about the fact I have a PhD, never about the fact I was a professor, a successful businessman, a military career. No, but I was a radio talk show.
Talk show host. That and Fox News ends it with those people. Of course, there's no such thing as MSNBC or any of the crazy people that are associated with liberalism and the Democratic Party. No. It's just Fox News and radio talk show hosts.
There you go.
Yes, we do defend a certain ideal, usually. I mean, there's liberal talk show hosts out there. But the funny thing about liberal talk show hosts, nobody knows who they are because nobody really listens. They had Air America on several years ago with some of the premier radio talk show hosts from the left several years ago, including Al Franken, who, by the way, was terrible on the air. He just couldn't seem to get it together. And Air America just went down the tubes. And they've never really tried to start another liberal radio network. Apparently,
there are 2%, 98% of the talkers, about 2,000 news and talk radio stations in America. 98% are conservative and 2% are liberal.
But what do you do? I almost back away from that term conservative. What does that mean? Do you mean I believe in the United States of America? Do you mean I'm a man of the Christian faith? Yes, I am. And no, I don't.
All of that is true. And the fact is you believe in the Constitution.
Yes.
Now so let's talk about those three things. You believe in the rule of law, you believe in the Constitution, and you believe that you're a Christian, or at least you're a person who believes in the supreme being.
That's right.
You may be a deist, but you're still believe in the supreme being. So you think about that. Where does that put you? Well, that puts you, frankly, in the wheelhouse of about 90% of the people in America. Now, they may not hold to the same conservative thing, and the reason they don't is because they don't know it. They don't have the civics knowledge to understand, well, yeah, that's what, when you and I talk on the radio, when I was on the radio and you are on every day, we have listeners that listen and they are enlightened because they forgot what they knew in civics class, or they're learning it for the first time. You would be amazed at the number of people that approach me and said, I didn't know that. I didn't learn that in school. Well, yes, I know you didn't learn it in school. That's why I'm on the radio.
My son's almost 30 years ago, and he came home and told me about a classroom assignment they had. They put Christopher Columbus on trial for crimes against humanity. Long story short, there was a defense attorney, there was a prosecuting attorney, and they put Christopher Columbus on trial for, again, the crimes against humanity. Well, at the end of the trial, what a surprise, Columbus was found guilty, and he was stoned to death, figuratively, of course, by young students. He was like 9 years old at the time. The students then got to stone Christopher Columbus to death as his just punishment by wadding up pieces of paper. They were figuratively, symbolically stones, and they all threw them with great velocity at the student who portrayed Christopher Columbus. Now, this was in Fort Dodge, Iowa, not too far from where I'm broadcasting right now in a 5th or 6th grade class over there. It's just appalling. And apparently the teacher was allowed to retire with full benefits, but I would have fired that teacher on the spot. Now let's go to the source of this teacher's lesson plan that day. That was Howard Zinn in Zinn Education. You know,
Yep.
Of course, you know.
Sure do. Yeah.
Howard Zinn, a well-known leftist who didn't have much respect for women, as it turned out, about as much as respect as Bill Clinton. But he was a liberal academic, and his people and he's deceased now, but put together lesson plans to be taught all over the schools in the United States, and many adapted it. So if you think this is just something that happened in San Francisco or New York, you're wrong.
Nope.
It happens right over here in what used to be Phillips Middle School.
No, I know that. Hey, one thing I want to get back to this thing where we see that Biden is chasing Trump around, and
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that really has been of interest to me is because when you go out and you think about the Democrats as so negative in what they do. Trump is out there showing accomplishments, being positive, being forthright, contrasting himself with Joe Biden. And all of the positive stuff is to encourage people to vote. All of the negative stuff is to discourage voting. Now, negative campaigning is about suppressing the vote. It is not about getting people to switch votes. It's about getting people not to vote.
Right.
That's it. And that is scientifically proven. We can go out and look at that. Very few people are swayed. The other thing is, and I heard Rush talking about it today, was I was shocked at the very low number of undecideds that we have right now. And I think that a lot of times, yes, there aren't very many undecideds. If you go around state to state, you look at the battleground states, we're looking at 9%, 10%, maybe a high I've seen is 15% undecided. And that's a lot because we're getting, we're in, 8 weeks to the election, and 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks to the first debate. That will be, I think, a watershed event. If Joe does well in the debate, it could be interesting to see how that affects things. But I suspect, and I think a lot of people suspect, that it will be a nightmare for the Democrats if it goes 90 minutes. And because if it would be a heavyweight fight, I predict they would stop the fight in the second round.
Well,
so that's what I think that's what the Democrats are afraid of. And I think they're going to find a massive excuse to not let him debate at all this time around.
Well, he looks more frail every day. And by the way,
my word,
I've been talking about that on the air. Really what happens in the debates, whoever wins the debates is going to win the election. And the Democrats know that. And the Democrats have been keeping Biden, for the most part, out of public view. They've turned him loose, as you've been talking about, to follow Trump around here recently. But, his reception has been very mixed because he keeps screwing things up, keeps mumbling and stumbling, and looks like he's lost. I mean, these aren't reassuring images for the Democratic Party. So you very well could be right that they'll come up with make it Trump's fault. That, oh, yes, Trump always lies. You can't win with a liar, so we're not going to debate. Or some garbage like that. Because everything, including the dropping of the atomic bomb on Hiroshima, was Trump's fault. I mean, Eve tempting Adam with an apple was Trump's fault. You name it, Trump did it. Trump's responsible for cancer, for every damn thing under the sun. And if my feelings are hurt, it's Trump's fault.
Well, the issue is there. You have to look at the victimhood of the Democrat and the Democrat Party is it's all about victimhood. But let's go back to this whole issue with the debate and Biden and his frailty, and the Democrats have put themselves and painted themselves into a corner. If they do not debate, Trump will run circles around that, and that will be the campaign ad of the century for the last 7 weeks of the campaign, and that will be that they will not be, the Democrats will not be able to walk away from it. If he does debate, then it's going to be a nightmare for the Democrats because every word, every sentence, every question is going. Now, this is where the moderators, if they stay out of it, then I think Biden is done. If they interject themselves or they try to steer Biden or they try to lead the witness, Trump will be all over him and the world will see it. Now, that's the thing I think is really going to happen here is I think it'll be like Candy Crowley with Obama and Romney. And the thing is, Trump is not Romney. Trump
certainly isn't.
Ron. Yeah, and so I think that he would be in their face right away, and he would say, "You can't do that." And so, I think I just think that the Democrats are in a really tough spot when it comes to Biden, and I think they have to debate. They have to get him on stage, whether they like it or not, because otherwise, it's worse not having him debate than it is having him in a debate for 90 minutes and see what happens. I just think Biden may do well. We don't know, or it may hold his own. I don't know, and he may.
I don't remember what happened.
I just don't think it's going to work.
I don't exactly remember what happened with Candy Crowley and Obama and Romney. Did she play big favorite? I'm sure she did.
Yes, she did. No, she corrected Romney. And really put a softball on a tee for Obama to hit it out of the park, and that's exactly what he did. And Romney did not push back. Trump would have pushed back. And I forget what the question was, but I'm pretty sure that Candy Crowley interjected herself into it and cut Romney off at the knees, and teed it up for Obama, and then that was it. And Romney never pushed back on anything. He won the debate, the first debate going away, and then played, the prevent defense all the way in the second and third debate, and it cost him the presidency.
Yeah. I didn't think Romney was that strong a candidate, frankly. But that's who we wound up with. I mean, he looked the most presidential of any of the candidates, including Obama. And I'm bringing up Romney simply because I want to know what's up with him, because every time he gets a chance, he takes a shot at Trump.
Well, I think that he is going to he's going to try to run again in 2024. I think that he thinks that his time will come around again, and he may play kingmaker, and Jeb Bush will try to be a kingmaker, and Bobby Jindal and Rick Perry and all of them that ran, Rick Santorum, Mike Huckabee, they'll all stay. Maybe they'll stay out of it and they'll get behind somebody and push them along. Who knows? But I just think it's going to be a real frog show in 2024. I don't know what do you think is going to happen in 2022 in Iowa?
What do I think?
Bring it home.
Well, you and I have talked before that Joni Ernst has got to get out now if she's going to win in 2020 because she's vulnerable. In 2022, the Democrats are desperately trying to win one house in Iowa. Now, they have a plan to get there, and they may get there without strong Republican candidates. The Republican Party in Iowa has to be careful who they're picking. They don't want to get anybody too extreme to the right. They don't want to get anybody way out there. But they need...
Why not? Why not?
Well, I don't know if that sort of candidate would really play in most parts of Iowa. Now, I'm not talking about the university towns like, Story County and Johnson County, the People's Republic of Johnson County. But I don't, we're kind of we're a tolerant people in Iowa, but we are a traditionally conservative state. And extremes bother us. That's my underlying philosophy. Extremes.
Would you consider me an extreme candidate?
Hell no, Sam. I invited you on the program. No, absolutely not. When you
okay, but I'm talking about people like me. You think that would those candidates scare people?
Now I'm going to back up with you here just a minute, Sam. What we need is really good communicators. Joni Ernst really isn't. Fortunately,
you got it. There, you broke the code right
that's
there,
right,
Mike. You're right on.
Because you are a very effective communicator, and we need people who can do that. Talk show hosts, we're supposed to lay it out on the line. Everything that ever was inside of us, we're supposed to let it go. Every passion that we had, that's what we need. That's what we need. We don't need stilted.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So that's the reason why I would support Sam Clovis and others, and Steve King, as a matter of fact. Steve King, face to face, would take somebody apart in the kindest way possible.
Yeah. And he has.
He has many times.
Well, he and I talk often, and I think that's good. But I agree with you. I don't think Joni is a terribly effective candidate. I think she needs coaching in that area. She needs to have a little bit of the rise and fall. I mean, she needs to know what the passions are and knows what to put her foot down about, and she needs to show a little bit of that. The other part of it is that I don't know who her coaches are on policies, because I don't know. You can propose legislation in the Senate. Nobody, she gets people to sign on, but if it doesn't get out of committee and it doesn't get to the floor, then it really doesn't matter, does it?
No, it doesn't.
So it doesn't matter. And so are you offering amendments to bills that get attached? Are you doing those kinds of things? That's what matters, is your ability to be an effective legislator. And see, that's what Steve King did. He was...
Sam, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Sam. We're going to have to go. But I do think, Sam, hey, it's always a great joy to talk with you, and I look forward to talking with you next Thursday.
Thank you so much, Mike. We'll see you.
This is AM 1400, KBFD, the voice of Fort Dodge.
Time's running out to win $1,000 a day for life from Publishers Clearinghouse. Enter at PCH.com, and you and your family could soon be celebrating the win of a lifetime. Don't miss your chance to win $1,000 a day for life on October 31st. Go to PCH.com before it's too late. That's PCH.com. Better hurry if you want the next big winner to be you. Enter now at PCH.com. Entries due 10/28. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
Hiring can be challenging, but ZipRecruiter makes it fast and easy. We talked to Monica Starks, who needed to hire for a pivotal role at her company, GS Group.
As the owner of a construction company, finding the right people is a very difficult task. So I use ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology